Hello, friend. You're welcome to this discussion on a perfect wife and how to find one. Permit me to acknowledge the fact that this is a very difficult discussion, and then I only trust for grace to be able to discuss this with you. All right, I remain your facilitator, Dr. Marco Achukwujide, and that is our subject today: perfect wife and how to find one. What is the concern here? I do not know your definition of a perfect wife. That makes this task very difficult. Because if I know your definition of a perfect wife, it becomes easier to know where and how to find one. However, it's important to know that no one is perfect except God. You will most likely agree with me. And since there is no perfect person, I can typically conclude that there is no perfect wife. Okay? However, the woman who will be a perfect wife, the truth is that she will hardly take time to look at you as a potential husband. Reason being because as a human being, you are also imperfect. And that is why if you want to find and marry a perfect wife, you may need to wait forever. Yay, you know this picture here, Mr. Bean. This is where he was waiting for something, and then he started checking the time. His legs started paining him. He had to sit down until he had to lie down waiting. This may not be far from your experience, friend. If you are waiting for and searching for a perfect wife to marry. In any case, there is good news, friend. The good news is that you can actually find a good wife, and that is what you need. I do not think you need a perfect wife. You need a good wife. Well, I will still come back to the issue of perfect wife at the end of this discussion. And so I want to share with you in the next few minutes how to identify a good wife. And if you are lucky, she will accept you. If you are not lucky, your search continues. By God's grace, 2024, November 14th, actually marks my 15 years of marriage, and it's been quite sweet. It's been quite enjoyable. But then it wasn't so easy when I was searching for a wife. I actually found somebody I considered a good wife, and I was so excited. But I wasn't ready to get into that relationship. I didn't want a prolonged relationship, so I waited a little. And then the next thing is that I discovered she was engaged to someone else. Wow, that was a very big blow on me. It took me 2 weeks to recover from that shock, to know that the person I was hoping was going to be my wife was no longer available. And so that took me through an experience. And maybe that is the experience that has prepared me to share this with you. It took me into experience of searching for a good wife. Now, at a point I felt I had seen one. I took a step, I approached her, I proposed to her after meeting with my counselor to say, this is my conviction. And so he encouraged me to take a step. I did that. And my method is that I don't allow people to quickly say yes to me at the point of proposal. I allow you to go and think about it so that you won't say yes just based on emotional feelings. I want you to go and think about it before you take a step. As I told her to go and prayerfully think about it. And then while she was doing that, I was also thinking around it. And somehow, I had this strong feeling that I was getting it wrong. That wasn't the right person for me. I didn't have anything against her. Very beautiful, very nice, very social. But I felt she wasn't meant for me. All right, I will discuss the fact that there's no single good wife that fits everybody. Okay, so I quickly met my counselor, and based on his advice, I went and I withdrew my proposal, but I was careful in a way not to hurt her emotions. So that actually brought us closer. We became friends, knowing that we were not meant to marry. You could have a very good friend. It's not compulsory for you to marry that your friend. Two of you may not make good husband and wife. even though you are nice friends. So I withdrew my proposal and my search continues. And then I stumbled into another person I felt was going to be a very good wife for me. I took a step. By the time I got there, she was just calm, listening to my proposal. When I was done, I got the shock of my life. Because I asked her friend whether she was in any serious relationship. Her very good friend said no. But I was shocked when she told me that she just said yes to somebody for a relationship in marriage. And so my search continues. So this search can go on and go on. It calls for patience. But let me quickly give you 8 guides that can lead you in getting good wife. Now, if you want to get a good wife, can I say to you that you must be prepared to be a good husband? If you are not prepared to be a good husband, you cannot get a good wife. You need to prepare your mind. It has a lot to do with mindset. It has a lot to do with your mentality. If you are not ready to be a good husband, please don't seek for a good wife. I'll show you why. Let me justify this point. If you have not prepared your mind to be a good husband, and you are lucky to get a good wife, the truth is that your wrong disposition or your bad attitude can make you never to see the goodness in the good wife. You'll be like a blind husband. Others outside will admire her, we cherish her, we see the good things in her. But as a blind husband, you will hardly see those good things. Or your bad disposition, your bad attitude can actually change the good wife to become a terrible wife. And then she'll begin to do things unimaginable, crazy things. And then you begin to shout. That's what you begin to project outside. The things she has begun to do lately, because you have changed her from being a good wife to a terrible wife. All right? And that is why I want to encourage you, if you are seeking for a good wife, my guy, prepare your mind to be a good husband. All right? And then the next thing is that good wives are known for their high moral standards. High moral standards. That's what good wives are known for. Thus, if you wish to attract a good wife, you must learn to honor her at the point of relationship. Learn to honor her, including saving sexual relationship for marriage. You don't go into it. All right? And then be ready to demonstrate that commitment to lifetime marital vows. If you subject her, for instance, to premarital romantic affections, including sleeping with her, which is not ideal, the ideal nature of a good wife, then you shouldn't be surprised if she begins to fall short of your expectation in other aspects of life. Because by subjecting her to that experience, you have actually lowered her from being a good wife. I don't know whether that makes sense to you, but that's the truth. Another fact you need to know is that a good wife honors God and loves others around her. And so if you want to identify a good wife, the truth is that in most cases, good wives honors God, no matter the religion. They have this fear, this reverence for God, this attachment for God. And then they love other people around her. They also love themselves. A good wife loves herself. If you meet somebody you think is a good wife and she doesn't love herself, it's a problem for you, for her, for the people around her. Because you can hardly love people more than you love yourself. Okay? And that is why I want to say that it's important that when you are searching for a good wife, you search for someone who loves and appreciates herself. If she doesn't, you don't expect her to transfer any love to you from nowhere. You can't give what you don't have. And so, what if the man is not willing to demonstrate that leadership? Because for you also, you must be ready to demonstrate that leadership. Okay, she loves herself, she loves the people around her, and she derives joy in supporting the leadership of her husband. That's her joy, her excitement to see how to support the leadership of the husband. But what if the man is not willing to demonstrate leadership born out of love? Such man may find a good wife, for instance, but if he does not demonstrate that leadership, of that commitment, that leadership, whatever it means in that family, if he doesn't demonstrate it, he may frustrate the good wife, frustrate the goodness out of that wife, because she can only strive for a while and then she will feel frustrated. So that is why it's important that as a man who wants to get into marriage, you need to define your direction so that you can actually lead somebody to walk that direction with you. Can I say also that a good wife fits into her husband? All right? In most cases, a good wife fits into her husband. And I want to say clearly that there is no one size fits all formula for a good wife. You see somebody that is good, and because she's good, you think she can fit all men. No. So the goodness of a wife depends on her ability to fit into her husband. So a man seeking for a good wife should focus on seeking for a lady who can fit into his life. If he does not understand himself, is a problem. If a man does not understand himself and he's seeking for a wife, how can you know the person who will fit into you when you do not understand yourself? So as a man, you need to first and foremost understand yourself and build your identity. And so, including your values. And so when you are seeking for a wife, you seek for someone who will fit into you. For instance, if a man loves to sleep around with other women, and then he's looking for a wife who will not do the same with other men, that's a confused man. The truth. That's the truth. He's a confused man. You as a man, you can afford to sleep with other women, and then it's okay by you, and you are looking for a woman who wouldn't do the same with other men. You are confused because your true nature hates sleeping around with people, and that is why you hate to see it in your good wife. That's the point I'm making. So if you want to look for a good wife, look for somebody who fits into you, into your life, and that makes life very, very easier. Okay, the next point I want to make is the fact that a good wife may have a different temperament from the husband. I mean, we have different temperaments people demonstrate. The truth is that a couple can be happily married for several years. 10 years this month is actually my 15 years experience. 20 years, 30 years, 40 and counting. It is all about the goodness of it, like we discussed earlier. A wife who fits into her husband may not exactly be like him in terms of temperament. They may have different temperaments, but they understand each other, they respect each other, and they find a way of fitting into each other. All right? So, for instance, you may have somebody who is very, very emotional, and then you have somebody who is very calm, like the picture we have here. This lady seems to be so excited. She looks very emotional. This looks calm. Looks like somebody very meticulous. All right? So, two temperamental persons, for instance, will butt heads too much in the house, and that may cause a lot of trouble. And then two very calm persons would become too boring for each other, and that can frustrate them out of that family. Okay? But when people have different temperaments and they learn to respect and enjoy their differences, it becomes a very enjoyable experience in marriage. In any case, one thing that is common among people who may have different temperaments is that their values are the same. So, whatever that happens in terms of temperament, watch out for a person who shares the same values with you. Okay? Now, another good thing you need to know about a good wife is that she keeps herself attractive. A good wife keeps herself very attractive by looking nice with good hairstyles, okay, with good hygiene, decent dresses, decent clothing, good aroma. I mean, she makes every effort to avoid what we call body odor in any form. Most men will are highly attracted by what they see. Most men are highly attracted by what they see. So presentation is important in terms of good wife. However, as we all know, good looks and physical packaging are not the most important factor in marriage. They are important, but they are not the most important factors. I had met a lady somewhere so beautiful. By God's grace, I was already married, and then I met her. We were interacting somewhere. We had a project to do. The first time I saw her, I was like, wow, this is beauty personified. And then I told her about it. Or did I? I didn't tell her immediately. Then we started working, but I discovered that she was so antagonistic against all the men in the team, including myself, even though she had this level of respect for me. You know, but her character was something else. In fact, one day I just told myself, thank God I never married this kind of beautiful lady. Okay? So, beauty is important, but it's not everything. Beauty and money, brain, can all disappear quickly. Sometimes people get into marriage and you married someone very beautiful. If you're not very careful, few days or weeks down the line, those beautiful things you thought you saw wouldn't be there again. You look at that lady, you won't see it anymore. And so, if beauty is just all it takes to get a good wife, then it is not enough. All right? So these things can quickly disappear in a moment. But if you want a good wife, it's important you look very attractive. You look very attractive. And for those of you who are ladies who are listening to this, you look very attractive. We men, we like things that are beautiful and attractive, things well organized. All right? So, but wait a minute. If you want to be a good wife and you attract your man by using indecent dressing, and then you think when you bring him in, he's going to stop looking at people who dressed indecently, then you are crazy. I'm sorry. I mean, you got your man in the club by dressing so indecently, and you feel that is what will attract him, and then you got him, you marry him, and then you come to the house. You want him to change in a moment. Leopard does not change its skin quickly. All right, so you may have to live with it. But if you use your moral values, if you use your moral standard to get the person will most likely stay with you. I say most likely because sometimes we have seen a lot of things in marriage counseling. All right, so please be truthful to yourself and let your character be your strongest attraction as a lady. And as a man, let the character of the lady be the strongest attraction. Because those things you see as beauty can disappear in a moment when the wrong character begins to manifest. Can I say that the seventh point I want to make here is that a good wife is a wife of all weather. All right? She's a wife of all weather. She can fit into every weather where you find yourself. You don't just choose a wife only for the sunny day and then maybe for cocktail parties. All right? If that is what you want, then be ready to bear with other challenges that come with it. So you choose someone who will be there even when the light has gone out. Because in life, occasionally, the light goes off. The light will go out. I got to appreciate my wife so much, 3 years after our marriage, because then I lost my job. And then she was a full-time student in the university doing MSc program. I was sponsoring her, and then I lost my job. So the means of livelihood was no longer there. So if it was just money that brought her in, she would have shown me the other side of life. But at that moment, she became very supportive. She was there for me. She was so sensitive, even to discover when I was sleeping, I was about slipping into depression. And so she was able to carefully walk me out of that pit. Thank God, after 12 months, that was how long the experience lasted. Yeah, I was hustling to make sure there was food on the table, but I wasn't in my best anymore. And it affected me as a man. One of the worst things that can happen to any ideal man is not to have, when he loses that ability to provide food on the table for the family. And ladies who understand it, if the man is hardworking and he has found himself in such position, you will become the best for him at that moment, because that condition may not last for a very long time. 1 year, 12 months after, I got a good job. She also got a good job. And then things became better again. Okay, so it's important you marry a wife who will be a good weather wife. I'm going to end with this one, and it's very, very important. Okay, a good wife truly loves her husband, the real man in the husband. Okay, a good wife loves her husband, and that is why I pose the question here: what are the best qualities to look out for in a good wife? Well, you may want to check my video on the qualities, top qualities to search out for in a good wife. The link is on the description of this particular video. Okay, but let me say that the most important quality to watch out for if you want to pick a spouse, whether you want to pick a man, you're a man, you are looking for a wife to marry, or you're a woman, you are looking for a man to marry. The most important factor is true love. Look for the person who truly loves you as a person, the actual you. I want to explain something very important here. Don't look for somebody who loves the fake you. Don't look for somebody who loves the pretending you. If you keep pretending and the person loves you because of your pretense, you're in trouble. Or you fake yourself, the person loves you because you have faked yourself, you are in trouble. You know, there was this marriage I watched crash, and it was very painful. This young man went to the university for one reason or the other. He was asked to leave the university. He didn't graduate, and I think he was studying something around computer engineering or so. And so he came out and started a business. He started dealing on computers, and then got nicknamed engineer, computer engineer. And when he was getting married, he gave this young lady that impression, that conviction that he was a graduate of engineering, computer engineering. And so this lady loved her, but it was fake her she was loving. By the time there was need to travel outside the country, and his transcript was needed, and she discovered that there was no transcript, and as a matter of fact, this guy was a fake engineer. He was never a graduate of any university engineering course. And so the lady felt stabbed in her heart. You know, unfortunately, they couldn't manage the situation, and that marriage ended. I don't advocate for that anyway. But if you decide to become a fake man, and someone loves you because of the fakeness you have presented, that thing will not last for a very long time. It's going to crash after some time. Or you decide to be pretending, and then the person has not loved the real you, then there is a problem. So if you want to get a good wife, I want to encourage you to make sure that you become deliberate in helping that lady understand who you are, the actual you, the real man in you. Be deliberate about it. When I was getting married, that was what I tried to do. I tried to explain myself to my wife to be. Then I was actually working in the bank, but I was there as a contract staff, and the pay was very, very small. Those that enter at entry level, their pay was like 3 times higher than mine. And so I told the person I was talking with, this is the situation. I'm working in the bank, but I'm not a bank staff. I'm only there on contract, servicing a particular product, and this is how much they pay me. However, I am hoping for something better. And then she could see me applying for opportunities. Okay? And then she was willing to accept me even with that small pay. She never cared. Maybe she saw the potential. And that is key you watch out for in a man. The man you are seeing today, you don't judge him with his position today. Watch out what drive he has for life. And so she accepted me. It wasn't long. I left that job. I actually resigned after 1 year. And then next thing I got a better job. And with it, we got into the marriage proper. Okay, so a man who is seeking for a good wife must be very deliberate in making sure that the lady understands the real him. If you have core values you respect, do not hide it at that moment. Let it be known. If you're a smoker, let the lady know you're a smoker. There was this man that was sharing with me recently, in a Bible study class somewhere, and then he told us that he was actually a chain smoker, but by the time he was getting married, it's because that this lady didn't, the lady said something to him at a point. He said, yeah, I can date. Well, dating is an issue of another day. That she can actually go out with a man who can smoke, but she can't marry a smoker. When this guy heard about it, he decided to do everything within his powers, because he loved the lady, to conceal the fact that he was a smoker, a chain smoker. And so he was able to get into that marriage. But ladies too, this is what you watch out for. You watch out for the real man you are talking with. Leave those things they do at eateries. If you don't discover the real man and then you are ready to love him for who he is, when you discover him, that thing you call love may crash. And then that may become the beginning of your trouble. Sorry, I'm going to summarize because I do not want this discussion to be longer than this. But you could see my passion, because I've been involved in counseling a lot of young people who are getting into marriage. I see some of them get it right. One of my friends shared recently on Facebook that she was afraid of marriage. I was actually talking with her about it. But having been in the experience for a few months, she's so enjoying it. Another one shared the same experience, that she's enjoying her marriage. Marriage is enjoyable, but you must, as a lady, discover the real man. And man, you are looking for a good wife, be deliberate in making sure that that lady understands the real you, not the fake you. Okay, so the issue of love is very, very important. This is by far the most important criteria. It is the one that many people often forget. When they are getting into marriage, you start checking where the lady is coming from and whatever, without looking out for the fact that whether there is this attachment for the real person. So let her understand who you are, and if she does and she really loves you for who you are, you will have a good wife in her. Yes, I can only wish you good luck. Okay? Now, to summarize this discussion, the truth is that there is no perfect wife. We established that from the beginning. But I want to say that a perfect wife can only be seen through the eye of a loving husband. No, you didn't get me. There is no perfect wife. Yes, we agree. But it is possible to see a perfect wife somewhere. And that is only possible through the eye of a loving husband. Let me tell you what happened at a point. Shortly after I got married to my wife, was it about 2 years down the line, she came up to ask me a question. He said, babe, see, I appreciate the way you love me, and I've been doing my best to make sure I be a good wife. Please, what else do you think I need to do so that I can be a good wife? I smiled. I said, baby, just be yourself. Just be yourself. He said, no, what can I do? What have you found that where I need to improve on myself? I said, I have not seen anything where you need to improve on yourself. Please just be yourself, and that is okay for me. Just be yourself. Simple. Well, was she perfect? Is she perfect? Maybe not. But through my eyes, I saw a perfect wife in her. And I bet you up to tomorrow, I still see my wife as a very, very perfect wife. By the way, this is our picture here. All right. So thank you very much for joining in this discussion. I wish you the very, very best. Can I repeat again? Marriage is sweet and enjoyable if you get it right. And I pray you will get it right. I wish you the best. May God guide you. And then if you're already married and it seems to be a big challenge, I also pray you take the right step to make sure your first love for each other is restored. It's possible. Thank you. Subscribe to this channel if you have not done so. And then you can also check For those of you who are not yet married, check my discussion on top qualities to watch out for in a very good wife, in a good wife to be. All right, it's a very short discussion. Cheers. Thank you.